Hello and welcome to the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club. Today I'm joined by one of my favorite creators, Bree. Hi, Bree. How are you doing?
Hi, great.
I'm so happy to have you here. We had the pleasure of getting to meet each other in person at MomoCon, which was so much fun.
It was so long ago, I feel like.
I know the summer has gone by like a fever dream, but
Yeah.
I am so excited to talk to you about Honor Off today, which is our BL Manhwa of the month. And this is like an old, longtime favorite of mine. If you guys aren't already following Brie, you have to. She's extremely active and extremely entertaining. We've got cosplays, we've got streaming, we've got BL content, we've got multiple accounts that you can all go follow. And we've got an Aang cosplay on the way, so you're gonna want to go follow her right now because that's just gonna be amazing. So, Brie, will you tell us where we can follow you, what you've got coming up before we dive into this?
Yeah, so I have a couple different accounts. Of course, you can find me at BL with Bree for all my BL content, my streaming content, which I am kind of on a hiatus from streaming. I'm gonna get back to it. I promise. I promise. There are shows that I've been meaning to watch, aka Payback, and they are doing it's an Omegaverse. Not the series is premiering or just premiered, and I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. I've been waiting on Not for like the longest time, actually. And so it's so funny because I need it back, but I'm so behind on watching stuff on stream that I'm like, okay, I can't watch this BL till I get back on stream. So that's why I haven't been watching Payback. And I'm stressed. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram as well for all my cosplay content, which I'm still a newbie cosplayer, which I like to call myself. But I try different fandoms, different genres, different things. So yeah, find me there. And my personal is Bree Lexi C, but you don't need that. It's okay.
Go follow everywhere. I have so much fun following you. I feel like our BL community is so fun and entertaining. And I just want to say, everyone listening out there, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're a new listener, new BL romance episodes drop every Thursday. And then our Shonen Simp Club episodes drop on Tuesdays, where we talk about other shonen anime and manga. So rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. And turn on your auto downloads for the podcast. Best way to support us is to turn on those auto downloads and tell a friend about us. To get to know Brie a little better, I want to talk about your anime journey. Everyone who listens knows that I'm like a newbie to the whole fandom culture as it is. I
Okay.
have bounced around with my hyperfixations and my special interests and didn't find anime and manga until my late 20s, until I was like 26, 27. So, how was your journey? Did you discover all of this wonderful weeby fandom stuff when you were a little kid? Did you find it later on? What was your journey?
Babe, I just got here.
No way.
I started anime 2023. I think that's right. Whenever the One Piece live action came out was the first time I decided to jump into this genre, right? So One Piece live action hit, it was at August, the end of August. Watched that in 2 days. After that, if that, I may have watched it all in one day. But after that, literally picked up the anime of One Piece the next day, finished that in about a month and a half, caught up to 1080 episodes at the time, and then started watching a lot of other stuff after that. I immediately got hooked and I felt like I was missing out on so much like glorious television. And then from anime, I ended up in a weird online space of finding straight manhwa. I don't know how I ended up in straight manhwa, but I ended up in straight manhwa. But from straight manhwa brought me to BL. I think the first thing I ended up picking up was Love is an Illusion.
You went straight for Omegaverse, which
What
I
I
love
did,
it.
I was just reading and I didn't know what, like, and I'd never, and the funny thing is, at that time, I did not finish Love's an Illusion. I stopped Love's an Illusion midway and went to find more stuff that I was like in the subject of BL. And I was like, what area am I in? I like this. And I'm bisexual. So I was completely fine with reading gay men. And I was like, I'm in love. Like, how did I
I
end up?
relate to this journey so much. It's crazy because I think I found it in 2023.
Okay.
And I think that I think right around the time that live action was happening was also the season of Jujutsu Kaisen was
Yes.
coming. One of the seasons was coming out,
Yes.
and my husband
It was
was watching,
2. It was
and
2 specifically because I remember seeing the Gojo being sealed get it was like a scene on Twitter. I didn't know what it was. And I was like, what is happening? And
This
so
is so lining up. We had the exact same like entrance into this. We were in the same freshman orientation to the Weeb fandom because I watched him watch Jujutsu Kaisen and I was like, why are they low key super hot? And then I've always resisted him. I was like, this is for boys. I am not going to waste my time like watching you play video games, watching you do boy stuff. And then I secretly was like, I don't want to watch the one he's watching, but I want to watch something. And that's when my
right.
entrance into anime happened. And then because my algorithm started switching to anime, it gave me an ad for manhwa. And my one of the first manhwas that I read was Define the Relationship. And I was
Okay.
so immersed. And I was like, what is this Omega verse? And so
Yeah.
I found Love is an Illusion next. And Love is an Illusion, it's one of my I put it in the Hall of Fame, not because it's good, but because everybody has read it.
Yeah, it's one of those stories where you're like, if somebody is mentioning like a topic, you're like, love is an illusion. And it's not because you want people to read it or it's good or whatever you make. It's just that's like what people naturally come to think of when you think of a certain subheading like Omegaverse. When you think of yeah, so it's I understand.
Like on the bookshelf of Barnes and Nobles. It's like right there and it's like shiny and pastel and pretty. And then you open it and you're
Big,
like, what is this
big
art?
volumes.
They're big and they're colored in, but the art, the characters look so young. And so I know so many people who are like, I started reading it, kind of
Yeah,
fell off a bit, and then read
yeah.
some other stuff. And that's my same journey was like, I loved the Omegaverse. I even do like that series, even though it's pretty flawed. But it's like that was my point where I was like lit on fire and I was like, I want more female alphas. I wanted all of it. Love is an Illusion, the Queen. That's when I started reading the story again because I knew we got a female alpha and I was like, I'm jumping back in.
So funny because I remember reading Love's an Illusion, the Queen, but I don't remember ever like finishing it or it finishing in a complete way. So it's like it keeps leaving my brain that it's a thing, but I'm like, I remember starting it. I never remember finishing it. And then whenever I go back to it, I'm like, oh, I did finish it, but it just doesn't, just
Satisfying
kind of,
ending at all. And like I think the whole story, like that entire series has that problem where it's man, there's just something like not quite making this.
yeah.
And I didn't read Love is an Illusion Superstar, but it's on my list. I'll get to it at some point. I just
I
want to keep it.
feel I like the story being about the babies, like all of the babies are in
Yes.
that story. So it's like I like it in that sense, but when it comes to there are just some like you said, there are some flaws that
There's
just seem like and I feel like mama did not deserve to have to deal with people forcing him to go see his like deal with his mother when he really didn't want to. So it's that's a whole nother discussion. We ain't got
And
it.
I think like what that series did, which is so fascinating to people and which really made me interested in it and like a lifelong fan. It's that thing you mentioned. Like I'm also bisexual, and that series specifically, Omegaverse does it all of the time, but that series specifically subverts a lot of norms and it allows for so much gender envy and gender idealization and all of this playing with our sexualities and genders and the way people look and how they present. And I really connected to that and loved that. Like, I so loved being able to see, like, for the first time, men drawn in a way that I found really appealing because they were very feminized men. But I like femme men, and they're not often presented either in the real life or in fiction. Just like I like mask women, and mask women aren't presented often in literature. And really get a mask woman, but being able to see a woman with a cock was close, and it felt like a representation that I had been dying for. And when I finally got my fingers in it and my hands dirty, I was like, I'm never leaving this genre. This genre has offered me more creative freedom and personal
Yeah,
exploration than any other
yeah,
genre. And I don't care if I was not assigned male at birth. There is something about the authors playing with things outside of the standard socialized norm that finally clicks and connects with me. And that's as someone with a literature degree. And it's, yeah, I can read as much serious literary fiction as you want me to read. But if that author isn't connecting to this like deeply freaked out bisexual weirdo inside me, then I don't want that story. I want someone who knows this, like who knows this, what's in here. And I feel like BL really did that for me. And once I found it, I just couldn't get out of that rabbit hole and I've been stuck in it for years. And it's really fun to find you. Also, Buff Joshi Britt is a newer comer to BL. And it's really fun to see women who are new to a scene saying, I'm not afraid to make content in this scene just because I recently found
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I want to explore and document that journey along the way. And I don't have to be an expert before I start making content. I
yeah.
think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I always felt when going about making content, when it comes to like making content, and you may see somebody else making similar content about the same topics, it puts you in a I don't wanna step on any toes, but I feel like as long as you are doing it naturally to what naturally comes to you and you're not word
Yeah.
for word, bar for bar, it's a huge space for everybody in this genre, and it's okay to make content based off of your likes and your interests, and I feel like that's what I had to kinda get myself out of when it comes to cosplaying, when it comes to making BL
Yeah.
content, when it comes to streaming. I can't be anybody but myself, and even if somebody feels like, "Oh, they made how do you know I didn't have this plan, like, 3 months ago?" You just happened to post it before I could post mine. So it's like it sucks when stuff like that comes in your mind, but I feel like the world is way too big to be worried about whose toes you're stepping on if you're not intentionally doing so.
It's like
Yeah,
double dutch. You've gotta jump in order for this game to keep going, new people have gotta jump into the jump rope and keep
yeah.
playing, and that is so much fun, and I do think what you said about, yeah, being authentic to yourself and what you like, watching people's journeys for cosplay is even more satisfying for me than a perfect cosplayer. I love to see a glow up, especially if we've got a fan artist who is showing us their artwork from 2020 and their artwork from 2025. Everybody feels like a newbie in this area until you start joining in and participating, and then suddenly you're a part of it. And it's so fun and welcoming to meet other women of a similar age and social group. Like, I feel like our generation, not as many women were in the anime clubs and the anime fandom
Mhm.
spaces. And honestly, I think we weren't really that welcome, to be honest.
That's
And
right.
that's what I kind of rejected back. Like, if the boys didn't want me in their space, I rejected the
Yeah,
boys back. And
yeah.
now I feel like we've carved out this very welcoming and fun space. And so I do encourage anyone listening out there, if you follow somebody who you really admire and they encourage you or motivate you to try to make your own content, put it out there. There's people who are really supportive on the internet, and you'll end up making these kinds of connections with other people and friends. I would follow your page. Like, if you guys make content, there's people out there dying for friends who just found the new niche just like they did. So it's really fun.
Always looking for friends, always looking for people to support.
And, like, how funny that you and I have such a similar journey when you're in Atlanta, I'm in Montana, and it's yeah, this you're all meant to find each other and the things
Yeah.
that you like in the right time, and it's just lovely. So then you mentioned One Piece, and I'm on a One Piece journey, and that fandom is impossible to join because the boys are so aggressive and toxic, and then you
I don't
find
know
the
how I
women.
got I don't know how I got in there.
And when you find the women fandom in One Piece, they're so cool, and
Yeah.
you've gotta dig. You gotta get to them, but they're amazing, and I just started reading the manga. I had to pause watching the
Me
anime.
too.
So we're at volume 22 of the manga. That's what we release on Tuesdays is our
Okay,
reviews of the mangas, and then we
okay.
keep the anime up to I stay up with the anime to where I am with the reading,
So
but
where are you I know you said volume 22. I can't tell you
oh,
after all the 100 plus
yeah.
volumes that there are that where are
I am
you?
I had to stop the anime, I was already past Impel Down, so then I was like,
Okay,
"We're stopping, we're gonna go back and read the manga," but in the
okay.
manga, we're up to Crocodile and Alabasta, and we're just about to be done with Crocodile Alabasta Broke
Okay.
Works. We're about to kick everybody's
Yeah.
ass, and
Not you
so
were
that's
reading
like
not you were watching all the way up to Impel Down and you're reading.
do you know what happened is that I fell in love with Ace, and I knew what was gonna happen from spoilers, and as soon as I got close enough, I said, "Stop the show, stop the camera, stop the camera."
Poor
I'm like, here I'm thinking about it right now. I was like, honest, I will go
listen,
back and read 500 chapters before I
listen,
will approach
it's
this
okay.
level of sadness ever again. And that's what we did because I was like, I won't. And Speaking of which, a lot of my delusional boyfriends now in my heart are just from One Piece, which
You
like 7 years telling my husband was a silly little boy show about pirates, and now look at me, a hypocrite, a massive, huge hypocrite.
hold on. Before, okay, you know what? Because who on that list? Who on that list of yours? Because we may
Are we
have to
talking
test.
if we have to talk main crew and you're gonna make me choose main crew, who's my favorite, I will, but that's not who I wanna talk. Here's who
No,
I wanna
no,
I
yeah.
wanna talk about Mihawk and Smoker and
Okay,
Shanks
okay,
Ace. I
okay.
like and Crocodile. I like all any of the hot
Is
zaddies
beautiful.
are
Cook
it
is
for me. I met
beautiful.
Dragon for 1 second. I was like, "Dragon's gonna be my man, that's that." The whole family, literally. Smoker, though, something seeing Smoker really sets me off, but then all the One Piece women, I mean,
All the One Piece.
Nami's sister,
Yeah,
Nami's mom, every time I
yeah,
encounter a One Piece woman, I'm just like,
yeah.
"Well, she's my delusional boyfriend for this episode because how could she fucking not be?" What has this show done that I've gone from being completely, like, anti little boy pirate show to being like, "Luffy's ripped."
Very ripped. He has no interest in anybody but his friends.
No.
And he doesn't hide it either. He's just like, yeah, okay. Where's the
Like,
food?
so invested in, like, him and Boa and all of this shit.
Loves him.
Like,
Loves him.
I'm like, "Wolfgang, do you ship them together? Do you ship them together?" He's like, "I don't ship any of them." And finally, we're 22 volumes in, he started, like, shipping them back with me, and I was like, "Oh, I've got you. I've got you." Like, Fujo pilled. You're gonna want them all to kiss. You're seeing it with Sanji and Zoro now, aren't you? You're
Yeah,
starting to see it?
yeah,
And he's like, "That moment
yeah.
was suspicious."
I was on my other podcast and I told him, I'm like, so look, this is how it goes, right? So Shanks and Buggy are exes. Mihawk and
Yes.
Shanks are married. Croc and our boyfriend. Like
This is biblically accurate.
it's a whole relationship breakdown with them old men, and it's just really funny.
It's my favorite. I don't know if you follow One Piece of Trash, the podcast that does the
Yeah, yes,
like, she's been doing the what orientation is each one of the One Piece characters, and it's I just love it because, to be honest, it is queer piece, like, it is they're
it's
everybody a
very.
little queer. We
They
wouldn't ever
nobody
play
ever wants to admit they're in love with somebody else, but Sanji told he don't need to wear anything in the background of everybody else yelling at him in a clip that's been going around on Twitter. So Sanji, so you just thought you could slip that in because everybody else yelling like a photo shoot. They were doing like a fashion show on the ship. So it was Zoro's turn, and they're all yelling to tell Zoro to hurry up and get ready. And Sanji just like slips in there or nothing at all. Why did you just?
'cause it had to be said, and it needed to be said, and, like,
Oh,
you ship them, right? They're in love, right? You're not
they're together. They
because
just don't want to tell nobody that they're together.
Wolfgang's like, "What about Nami and Sanji?" I'm like, "In what lifetime? In what lifetime is Nami not a lesbian with Vivi? Like, you're stupid." She does not like Sanji. She's not interested in Sanji. She made that abundantly clear. And Sanji,
She'll take all the love and affection she can get from Sanji, even though
take
Sanji
anything
doesn't
she can
want
get
her in a
from
romantic
Sanji.
way.
She'll take anything from Sanji, but she ain't gonna kiss him. But
Chill.
I don't love him. But Zoro and Sanji, the like fandom around that got me to want to read the series. And that I have like a commissioned fan art on my website of them. Like I am obsessed with them. They're like my one true pairing, them and Shanks and Buggy, of course. Like I actually want Shanks to go back to his ex because Buggy and Shanks together is like it for me.
They gotta get it together. Buggy hates that man so bad, but he loves him too, so it's so funny.
Know I
Cause
love
how
a
do you
toxic
know?
relationship.
It's Buggy. Why couldn't Luffy just have a random straw hat? Why it gotta be Shanks and straw hat? How did you know it was Shanks and straw hat? Now you're mad because he got Shanks and straw hat, but you
It's because Buggy has the worst luck in the world, and of course he's gonna be reminded of his ex every goddamn day. Can't escape that man.
he said, I know
I
that hat.
I really did not expect One Piece to enlarge my life the way it did, and I'm so happy that I got into it. Who do you think is your number one delusional boyfriend from it? If you had to pick one.
Babe, I'm married to him. His name is Trafalgar D. Waterlaw.
Lo-
Trafalgar is my man. I have a tattoo of law.
Can where is it?
It's on my leg. Hold.
I'm like,
Let's see.
I love he's gorgeous. His hand tattoos,
That's
his knuckle tattoos. Did you see the sculpture they were selling of him that was an incense holder?
the fingers, yeah.
The fingers, I was like, "Oh my god, just make it silicone."
The
But
way everybody was like, "So"
pre-order, pre-order, add to cart, add to cart. I just
but
sent a screenshot to Bad Dragon, and I was like, "Make it, and the girls will buy it." Just make
yeah, that is my man. That anybody that I discover in anime that that I am drawn to, they're all measured up to where Law is.
Is
So
that your
if
number 1 delusional boyfriend is
yeah,
Law?
yeah, everybody got to get up to his level. There's only one person that's that close right now, and that's that damn engine from Gachiakura. And I can't. That's not my fault. He literally. I thought it was bad with Law in his edits, baby. Them engine edits hit me so hard. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why do I feel like I felt with Law when he was introduced to me? Engine, back up.
Why do I feel like a cheater? Why do I feel like a cheater?
What? But then you get this pretty face, and you're like, oh, that's why I feel like a cheater. And tattoos, he's fine.
Law's tattoos are also insane, so hot. But let's talk about so this is actually a perfect fucking segue for our story that we're talking about today. If we have to measure every boy up to Law, and our story today is on or off, and we've got another tall brunette with a sexy ass tattoo, I feel like I know that it's going to be hard. It'll be hard to dethrone Law, but I feel like we have a contender, somebody who can at least get in the ring with him, right?
It's so funny because I remember the exact moment when he showed that tattoo. Tattoo!
He's the one.
It's always a tattoo.
That tattoo absolutely got me. I love that all of the other characters get to see it through like a wet t-shirt moment, and that sparks like this insane jealousy within our main character. And this the thing about this story is, and I guess I'll just get into what our tropes are. So one of the
Young
main
is
tropes of
so
this
funny.
story is miscommunication. And like it's that usually really bothers me. And upon my reread of this, the story happens in kind of a short period of time over the course of one contract for a business. And so the miscommunications get cleared up pretty quickly, but there's a couple of them. And one of them is so funny because this character, he gets so jealous about everyone else getting to see this tattoo and he didn't get to see it. And it's little like butthurt moments like that where you're jealous or you're not asking a question that you feel like is awkward and then you're making up an own scenario in your own head. And that's what this story
But
is. And
he does a lot of that. He talks in his head,
it,
so you would think and, like, I could see where people who are reading it, I can see where their instance would come out, be like, "Oh, he's doing bad," but you just read his thoughts. You
yeah,
know he's actually having the best time of his life in this relationship right now. You know he's having the time of his life, getting treated like a low down dirty slut sometimes, and that's okay. But y'all want to have this anger at certain things, and it's like, how can you be angry at
I
something our main character is actually enjoying and vocalizing to you that he's enjoying?
I love
He
that you said that because this story is quite it's this is an explicit spicy story and it is kinky and they don't shy away from the kink and people want to kink shame so much and want to slap these vile labels on things that do not fit. They want to call things SA that aren't SA and they want to call things toxic that aren't toxic and they want to call relationship dynamics that are normal and common bad and horrific. And what it does is when there's actual toxic things happening or actual SAs, you're diluting the meaning of that by throwing it at these other circumstances. And this
Yep,
story is so good at giving the internal monologue of our main character that
yep,
even when it might appear, like you said, to be toxic on the surface, we see that in his head, he has this sudden kink and fantasy for degradation. And he actually
yep,
doesn't mind the little bit of degradation or the power dynamic. He actually is enjoying exploring this power dynamic, and it's not an abuse against him. It's him exploring his own preference in that situation, which is quite healthy. And I will say this is like, as far as the Printed volumes go, it is very, very explicit and completely uncensored. When you are reading the online volumes, which you will have to read to finish the story because the printed volumes only go through season 2 and they're printed
Mhm.
by Tokyo Pop. If you aren't reading it physically, you have to go on Tappy Tune to buy it. And you might do what I did. So I bought all of these physical. Then I went digitally and got the last
Did
episodes
you
that I couldn't.
accidentally do the all ages version and not the
You
Steam?
know I did. You know that I did. You know that I spent like $20, $25, whatever, buying the all ages version. So if you're listening right now and you haven't you haven't read the story yet, go on Tappy Tune. You need to be on the browser. You need to get the steamy.
Happy Tune is very frustrating when it comes to their because if I am set to R or if I'm set to mature, you should not be providing me all ages anyways. You should automatically think I want steamy. Give me the smut.
This is the second or third time I've had to rebuy chapters that I accidentally bought all ages for because I was like, I am here for the peen. And it was disappointing to go from the fully colored in, gorgeous. And this is one of my first BLs that I read, and it was completely uncensored compared
Okay.
to Dangerous Convenience Store. I initially was only reading physical copies. So I had Love is an Illusion, which is censored. I had Dangerous Convenience Store, which is censored. And then I opened On or
Is
Off. And I saw his
Dangerous
massive
Convenience Store
Well, at
is
least mine is from where I got mine, I think, yeah. And then this one, I remember thinking it looked like a chorizo because he pulls it out and he says, I think I'm gonna die. And when he sees it in the light of day for the first time, I was like, I think I'm gonna die. That is the largest, angriest meat stick I have ever seen.
when manhwa drawn penises are so funny to me because they can look like the most realistic thing in the world or they can look like the ugliest piece of sausage, undercooked sausage. That Banana Scandal, that
Oh,
first season, his
Banana all of the art in Banana Scandal season 1 was bad. We can't talk about it. She was trying, but those peens weren't right. Nothing was right.
because remember I just recently read Banana Scandal.
Was it
So
recent? It's so
yeah,
good.
so it was it this year, last year when I did my Banana Scandal videos, I that first like set of chapter reviews that I did, that penis pissed me off. Pissed me off so bad. I was like, why does it look like that? Why does it look like a thumb?
And I am absolutely a supporter of the uncensored peen. I want it veiny, I want it colored, and I want you to do what you gotta do. You can make the tip a different color. Like, I love it. But there
Make
is
it
something that
censored at
happens.
that point.
There's something that happens to your brain when you're reading enough Japanese manga where the BL is censored and realistic in a way that, not for me, I'm a size queen, but these manga all portray the average on the male human, which is on the smaller side. So you go from the censored smaller peen in a Japanese manga, and then you start reading Korean manhwa, and they are making it.
You
They're
get
like,
guan. You get
they go
you get a
on. They go,
pink guan.
they say, this is not a human. I'm not going to tell you why he's not human, but I'm going to show you the first piece of evidence right here. Look at this third leg. You get this. And the Omegaverse penises, everybody, even Dangerous Convenience. So I remember seeing Ah Juicy's dick and being like, it's not colored in, and I know it's bigger than my whole thigh.
What am I thinking about? Not punch drunk love. What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about?
Um,
Oh, perfect buddy. Perfect
okay.
buddy and his massive baguette of a peen. But it's censored. It's censored in the on the online on Lezen. But I think somebody said it's uncensored in the physicals. I'm
You
like,
just convinced me to read the physicals because they're over there wrapped on my
are
shelf.
you?
And it's massive and it's
I'm
maybe
like,
uncensored.
I'm like, you're telling me that baguette is uncensored? Why would I want this long of a
Why, and think of, and think of,
like this thick, bro? Oh my
a
goodness.
Stanley
Yeah.
water bottle is the perfect representation because they're always that wide too. And I'm
They're
like, his waist
always
isn't,
this thick.
his
Like
waist is big.
whose
Even,
hole is that going into? Whose booty? You can't
I mean, I will say Titan's Bride is one of my all-time favorite manga. And I'm like, that size difference, that's like
I
the
have
big,
Titan's Bride Volume 1. I still have not read it. It's sitting
oh,
over here on my unread bookshelf. I have a thing, right? I have a thing about buying things and not reading them. They
If
just
I
sit.
can if I can just pressure you a tiny bit to get to reading it,
Pressure me,
you don't
please.
even to be honest, the plot line is so cut and dry that you'll read it and be like, "Basic plot line," but the art, you're gonna be like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait. Wait a second. Wait a second." I have 8 of them. I'll tell you in, like,
Is
volume
it 8?
7,
Is it 8 volumes?
I think there's 8 volumes, but there is a scene, it's my favorite scene in, like, maybe any manga that's BL, but it's the little bottom character, and he's just like a little kitty, and it's, like, a whole scene of them doing this, like, cat costume play. They explore every single kink. That's once I love when a BL goes, "Okay, how many kinks can we look up on the internet? And now we're gonna
Yeah.
write a scene that goes in to every single kink there is," and I absolutely love that. Also, like I said, I'm a size queen, so you have to read it. It's the biggest penis in all the manga, at least. Manhwa, you're right, is another realm of competition for penis size, but manga, that's the biggest one you're gonna find is Koichi or whatever his name is.
I'm like, I can't even think. I feel like Guwon's just is so ugly
So
and just
ugly.
so large and just so terrifying, where
How
it's
do you
like,
how do you feel when you see it limp in any manhwa or manga? Do you feel like it's necessary? Because in my real life and in my fictional life, you can go ahead and present me my meal when it's cooked. I do not need to see it limp
I
laying
do
on the
not.
side of your leg.
I hate seeing Guan's pee. I hate seeing that shit limp. It looks like a mushroom.
And it's all just like
It literally for all
when you wiggle a pencil and it turns into rubber, that thing is crazy when it's limp.
it's
There's a moment
so
in On
ugly,
Off.
but then the veins are still there when it's limp. So it's
It's
like
crazy.
vein and limp, discolored, and you're like, teach,
No,
be safe,
it's one
be
of
safe.
my least favorite and favorite penises of all time, and I
Yes.
can't explain that,
It's
but I
so
have
fun to see when it happens.
mm,
It's just like,
I just really
ugh.
support people taking creative risks, and that was an insane creative risk to take. There's also a limp penis in On or Off when he, at one point, he's, like, loosening up Ahn Yiyoung or something over he's, like, loosening him up, and he's not hard, Director Kang isn't, and it's just laying on his thigh, just, like, draped over like a rope laying on his thigh, and I was just like, "I don't know, I feel like he could have been hard in the scene," and I feel like it did detract for me. Honestly, Director Kang can kinda do no wrong t for me, so I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I would look at it in any state of its being. I'd look at it on a cold day in a river, but I did not
Let me flip to that page.
hate
Let me flip
it.
to a page real quick. Let me see what he got going. Okay, okay.
Like,
Mhm.
actually pretty pissed off I didn't get the uncensored final scenes in the last season, and I will keep my eye out for the rest of history looking for the uncensored scenes, because when you get it for 4 volumes in a row and it's taken away from you, it feels like, I don't know, our abortion rights getting taken away. Like, we've already fought for this, and we already were
We already
delivered
fought.
this. Not in my lifetime, I'm not gonna see this taken away. I don't think so, no. So, I want those extra chapters. I want them uncensored. But I guess for all of you listening out there, our other tropes are going to be age gap, office romance, power imbalance, red flag turned green flag, which he's not really
Was
red
a
flag.
red
It's
flag.
more
I was like, do you think he was a red flag? I don't think he was ever a
his
red flag. I don't
first
think he was a red
initial
flag.
their first initial interaction together, you get this miscommunication between them, which results in
Asshole. He's an asshole. I don't think
he
he
was
was a
an
red flag.
asshole. No,
Yeah,
and when I
a
read
red
this, I was like, "No one told me he was a red flag," and then pretty quickly I learned, like, how the dynamic of that miscommunication plays out,
yeah,
but it's definitely going to be a character arc for our love
yeah.
interest that takes them from a guy who is, yeah, maybe suspicious to a guy who is a total green flag, like,
He's
mega green flag.
completely in love and devoted to his little
So
man.
devoted. And then we've got, like, black cat, golden retriever, which I feel like most of the time
Yeah.
the black cat is, like, the bottom and the golden retriever is the top.
Usually, yeah, but it's opposite. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
opposite this time, and I like it that way because I think that fits their personality a lot. I feel
I do.
like Director Kang, he is. I feel like because he is this CEO. No, he's the
He's a
because
director.
he's such yeah. So because he's such
Yeah,
a large part of this company, and he's in the process of bringing this weirdo into his company with his little company, but he finds this sense of entertainment in him, and he's like, and he wants to give him the things that he needs, but at the same time he wants Ani Young to ask for it. So he doesn't want to just hand it to him. He wants him to sit there and state that he needs these things. So like the stuff that he needs for his company when they get moved into this building, he wants him to say, yeah, we need this space instead of letting his stupid manager sit there and bully him. And when you could have went straight up to the director and been like, so yes, as this incoming company, we need certain materials in order to run, and we need this space. We need comfortability, and it's
And I think
just
that age gap is usually so toxic because the older person is trying to infantilize the younger one and say, depend on me, don't work, don't do anything, don't grow, don't learn, because then I'll be your only option. I'll be your only resource in the world. And I feel like
gig of
this
the day.
story, yeah, and it's
Like
like
gig of the day.
this is a 15-year age gap. We have a character in who is 23 in 22 or 23 in college, and he's a sophomore because he took some time off to do his military service. And then we've got the director who's 38. That's 15 years. And instead of him saying like, "Oh, I love you," instead of, not being able to date you because we work together, quit your job. I'll take care of you. I'll be your breadwinner. He doesn't say that. Like you said, he wants to watch this person grow and see them take their own opportunities and create a life for themselves and not hamper that growth and their life and their journey and their youth by imposing himself on that. And I felt like that people have such an issue with age gap, and this one is dealt with in such
Age
a
gap. I
way.
want an age gap in my
I
life.
love the age gap, and I
Want an
love
age
that sometimes in reality it doesn't always work out, but in this fictional setting, it's really nice to see a person be like, "I can mentor you and help you reach the best version of yourself you wanna reach without treating you like my child and
gap.
without, I don't know, without ruining your youth, like, without
Yeah,
making this."
I'm not he didn't have to baby him, and I really
No.
appreciate that. Like, of course, now in their private life, he loved but he never like, when it comes to business and he knew how serious he was about his company, their startup is not necessarily his own company,
Yeah,
not at the time being not in the beginning,
but his
but
career.
yeah, it was his career, and so he didn't want to stop him from growing. He wanted him to push himself to do what's best for him, his company, his growth, and their entire project for that contract. So I really appreciated that dynamic with them.
Yeah.
And it was never like he never used his power to against him and made him
Or
feel
even
like,
Or even to help him, he never even was like,
yeah,
"Oh, because I'm your boyfriend, I'll get you this thing
yeah,
easily," or "You only got the job because you slept with me." He
yeah,
actually goes out of his way to say, "Regardless of how I feel about you, your work speaks for itself, and I'm not going to give you nepotism or special treatment because I like you. I'm gonna see if you can stand on your own 2 feet." And that is just so encouraging and shows that people of different ages can find each other as equals and treat each other as equals and lift each other up, and it doesn't always have to be this predatory thing that people villainize it for.
they were each other's safe space a lot of the time when it
Yeah.
came to any drama, anything that was going on. They felt very comfortable and relaxed with each other, but they always kept business and always kept their personal life personal.
Lead us through kind of like beginning, middle, end. How did these boys meet each other? What's our main conflict and how did they resolve and how did you feel about it? But the beginning is where it all, of course, starts, and
It's
it
so
is the
fun, I feel
craziest part.
like. The beginning is so fun. So our main character, me and my Korean names, Ahn Yiyoung
Oh,
is Ahn Yiyoung is helping his friend with a what is it? A prop no, what's the word that I'm looking
uh,
for? A presentation
yes, for their
basically for
gaming.
their gaming startup.
Yeah.
They have all these friends who are a part of this, but all of the friends are terrified of presenting anything or talking in front of people. So it's his duty to go to this company, this big company who is trying to give them their startup and present his presentation. He gets there, his computer is a mess. His computer is a complete mess. And he gets there, tries to do the presentation, but again, his computer's a mess. But he sees this gorgeous man walk into the room and he has this entire fantasization. Just he imagines this entire scenario where this man didn't he take him on the table
Yeah,
or
and I like
behind the podium
I
at
love the main
this
character because I do this. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I fell in love at first sight with my husband and every other man I thought I loved before that because I do this, and I love that his best friend is the starter of this company, and she
yes.
constantly is giving her
And
input about how
she's like, "Babe, no.
you
When you
always
get
do
there,
this.
no.
And
We
she's
no."
like, "We have an 80% chance of success and a 20% chance of failure. If Ahn
She's like,
Yiyoung falls
"Please."
in love with Director
She's
Kang,
like,
we're gonna have a
"Please."
problem."
Fuck. She's like praying for it. She's like, "Please, no."
Immediately
But
distracted in his presentation.
so
He
he
immediately is distracted.
immediately gets distracted in the presentation with this it's just it's so funny. And then he snaps out of it. His computer's messed up, so he doesn't get to do the presentation. They're like, goodbye. So he ends up going, I forgot what happens mid part to get to this scenario. So he ends up
This part
printing out. He goes to like this the secretary. He prints out all of the information for the presentation, and
mhm,
the pregnant secretary leaves to go to the restroom because she's going on maternity leave soon.
yeah,
And so he sneaks into the office at her non-suggestion. He sees on his
it's so
calendar that
messy.
he was supposed to go he had like a date night that was supposed to happen. And so he goes to the bar where Director Kang is having his supposed date night. Director Kang, did he just get broken up with? Didn't the girl just leave him? And so he's at the
Yes!
bar simping by
It's
himself.
so
Not
messy, it's
really
the worst.
simping, but he's simping. So Ahn Young, he's like, hey.
Fancy meeting you here at this bar I frequent. Meanwhile, he's a college student at the fanciest bar in town. Obviously out of place, obviously stalked him here.
So he gets there and he like makes a proposition to him, right? And he's like,
"Would you just look at my paper?" And he's like, "What are you gonna do, offer me sexual favors next?" And he's
he's
like,
like, yeah,
"Sure."
Young, what you doing, babe? And he
When
takes
you
him up
already
on that.
wanted to fuck a man and then he makes a little joke about it and you take it really serious and now all of a sudden you're fucking a man, that's this.
So they're so funny. I love them so much. So it's just like they are so freaking hilarious because how did we get to this point, babe?
Neither one
How
of
did
them
we
wants to
get to
call the other's bluff, and they're both just
they
like, "So we're doing
don't.
this."
And so they end up at the room and they're like, yeah, so we're still
We're
oh,
following through
oh,
on this. Meanwhile,
and
Kang's
he
never
has
fucked a
the
man.
Kang has never fucked a man. I was he a virgin?
He wasn't a virgin, but he had only had a few, like, bad experiences with dating apps, and so he was, like, not, like, super slutty at this point, and
He didn't, yeah.
the director's like, "Well, if he accepted this deal at the bar
And
and he
he thought that he was the hoest of hoest thing, and he thought he was a slut.
must be so ran through if you're offering up your pussy for this contract. Yeah, face down, ass up, buddy. Let's do this."
Was a slut. So misunderstanding, miscommunication number uno.
And they're just like,
It goes for the longest time for just thinking that he is the most sluttiest person in the world. And I was
and
like,
tricky and conniving and trying to bribe him. And
and
meanwhile, it's
trying
the
to
nicest
bribe,
guy.
and he's just, no.
I just want to help my friends make their business work. I'm totally sincerely sweet. And then the director, when they do get to fucking this scene was, I remember being like, I already like the main character so much because the artist draws the main character in these little chibi cartoons where he's like, and
The
like kicking his
chibis are so freaking
There's just so silly and honest and sincere and
he's
genuine
goofy.
and kind and goofy, and so you already are attached to him, and then this director is thinking that this guy is totally trying to use him, so he uses him in return, and you see him push Ahn Young's face down in the mattress, and he says, "Turn over because I won't be able to keep hard if I see that you have a penis." And he's homophobic, he's rude. And then he finishes, and there's no aftercare. He literally leaves the hotel room, and as he's leaving, Ahn Young has wobbly knees, and he falls out of the bed at him, and he goes, "Wait, you'll give our team the contract now?" And he's like, "Of course I won't. You're a stupid hoe, and I'm not gonna give you the job." And it's
Now you just
so,
slept with me
like
for no reason.
I'm like, this was my, oh my God, he's going to be a red flag. I didn't even
Oh,
want to read a red flag
oh,
story. And
oh,
then
he
you
just had to get to the next.
the next chapter, you see the director finds the
He
proposal that was
finds the
printed off.
proposal.
And it's perfect. And he says, I've treated this guy like shit, but I can't deny his hard work. And I am going to call him and they're going to get the job because his hard work speaks for itself. And that's when
Yeah.
you know he's a man of integrity. Even if he fucked up, he did fuck up, but
Felix
he is going
Integrity
to
is
be
so
okay.
funny because he really, and it's really funny because he was so impressed by it, and it was just like, damn, he not even gonna want to work with me.
Did I fuck up? It's
And
like,
I
yeah,
fuck-
you did.
but no, and then a lot of the story when it comes to them and just trying to really figure out their relationship, a lot of it is
Yeah.
miscommunication and just not naturally having that first conversation about, yeah, no, I never do this.
This dynamic of one person who is a hopeless romantic and one person who is a pragmatist, who is really practical. They're so stinking cute. And Ahn Young, he is so romantic. And so oftentimes throughout the story, we'll have moments where he thinks this is going in a romantic direction. And Director Kang is feeling romantic, but he's trying to repress it the whole time. And so they have this miscommunication. So there's the moment where he's touching his feet under the table, which sent me over the ledge.
Yes,
The moment when he thinks he's going to take a picture together with him, because he does take a picture with him, he's leading him
yes,
on. And then in
yes,
Ahn Young's head later on, he wants to take another picture of him, but the director
yes.
is really just trying to take a picture of the scenery and he reads too much into it and he kisses him. And the director says, I hope I didn't lead you on.
It's so funny because then you have everybody else surrounding them trying to figure out what the hell is going on, but not really like the three friends don't necessarily care as much. Of course, they're like trying to figure it out, but they don't care. But his bestie, she's like, you did, didn't you?
And she's a
Like,
genius.
you
So she's statistically, I can tell you how likely you are to end up together and how long you'll like him and how long he'll like you. And then we also have my favorite character who, after our main secretary, who is pregnant at the beginning, goes on maternity leave. She's replaced by Secretary Cha, who
our
is a
secretary,
star. She's
she's
a star.
she's
She's a star of the
so good.
show. She
She's so good.
runs up on them as they're having this awkward moment where Ahn Young thinks that Director Kang is going to kiss him. And Director Kang is like, whoa, buddy, we've got to take this professional. Like, you don't have feelings for me, do you? And he's being a dick. And then Secretary Cha rips through the scene on a motorcycle. She's already been keeping tabs on these guys' relationships and playing like she's up in their business all the time. She runs through on a motorcycle. She's got a girlfriend with her who is
Yes,
spazzing out, like punching her in the back of the head while she's driving her motorcycle. She takes off her helmet and yells at her girlfriend, and then she looks over at Director Kang, who is with Anya Young, and she's like,
yeah, this
did
is
you
when
just
they
see
were
me?
on the side of the road, right? Or some, yeah.
And also, we're on the same side of the rainbow because obviously I'm here with a girl and you're here with a
You're here
boy.
with the
And
guy.
now we know each other's secret. And that moment is one of my favorite Secretary Cha moments, but that's also one of the worst secondhand embarrassment moments I've ever had in my life is
Woo!
when Ahn
Yeah.
Young runs away physically and jumps into a bus to escape the awkwardness. It's so funny and so sad and awful. But then Secretary Cha's just like, what the fuck is
What
going
did
on?
what just happened?
And together because now she's invested at least in the gossip and she wants to see how it turn out. She also
But it
knows
was
her boss will
funny
be nicer if he's getting laid.
but it was funny because they were still having miscommunication and misunderstanding right then.
The whole time.
Because when you get his side of the story, he's like, "I'm getting feelings for this person.
And
I don't."
he's it's funny because age gaps so often in my experience in real life and in fiction, there's just not a lot that people can relate to each other at different ages. But these two have the exact same thing going on, which is like, are my feelings real? And what
Yeah,
kind of risk am I taking if I
yeah,
acknowledge these feelings and they don't return it? And I love that we got to see this 38-year-old character who has had pretty shallow relationships up to this point recognize that he might not understand when he's in deeper than he thinks he's in.
yeah,
And it's funny because whether you're 23 or 38, when you fall in love, it's scary as shit. And oftentimes you don't understand your own signals, let alone the signals people are giving you. And I
yeah.
loved watching them both figure this out. And Anya Young gets to
Yeah,
lean on
girl,
his
because
best
I
friend,
still
Mina.
I
And
still
then
can't have people hitting on me, so I
right? You need a Secretary Cha who is going to say, this person's hitting on you, and I'm going to get you to a reservation with them for dinner because you guys belong together. And so these side characters start to meddle with them just
Mhm.
enough to force them to talk about what's actually going on. And there is a very large miscommunication where Ahn Yiyoung ends up getting a ad run of his face, and he's so beautiful that he starts to become partially a celebrity, and Kang gets so jealous of this and
It
clocks
was
his own
so
jealousy.
good.
He interrupts a meeting, and then at one point he's like, we need to talk, let's go to dinner. And instead of at dinner being like, what are we? What are we doing? He says, Anya Young, go take that position as an actor. I don't even care if we work
Yep,
together anymore. I just want the
yep,
best for you. Go be an actor. And it's this
yep.
other moment where we get a flashback to his own side of that story. And he's telling himself, don't say that. Don't say that. You don't mean that.
They're
Don't.
so stupid. They're so stupid. And it's so funny because as I was like thinking, I'm like, babe, you sat there and masturbated to a picture of your man and came on that tablet. What are we talking about?
You know you love him.
What
You're
are we talking about? You want that man and you want him now. And not just sexual. You want that man in your life. You want to be locked in with that man.
you wanna be
It's
buried in
okay.
that man's casket with him, and that's okay. And I think it was miscommunication usually really annoys me, but the fact that this miscommunication is expressed, you get to see it in his own internal monologue and see him be frustrated with his own communication skills as a 38-year-old professional who constantly is doing business deals. There's even a scene where he's at a big company dinner with Ahn Young, and he sees Ahn Young being friends with everyone, being the life of the party, and he
Yeah,
says, even though he's only 23 or whatever, he is so much more natural and
yeah,
useful in this company, in this position, because I am a wet blanket. And even though I'm intimidating and I'm powerful and I'm controlling and I can command a group of people, I can't socialize with them. And in this moment, when he's fucking putting his foot in his mouth and saying, Anya Young, you should be an actor and just leave. I don't care if we work together anymore. You can see that bit of
which is
his
not what he meant at all, which is
it's not,
so correct.
and that's why
Because
he
why would
needs
you say that?
yeah, because he that part of his personality, he can't be vulnerable and he can't be sincere when it comes to his feelings, and that's why he needs Anya Young to complete him in that way and help him get that out of him. So I thought it was really beautiful when at the end he reconciles and he says, like verbatim, I regret it. And Anya Young says, put it on recording. Tell me you regret telling me that. And he's
He
like,
said, say it again.
and he goes, I regret it. I regret saying what I said. Stay by my side. I want to see you. I want to still stay where I can still see you. I want to be able to be near you. I regret it. Let's be boyfriends. The moment this project is done, let's be together for real. And
Yeah.
that's our big
I love
resolution.
oh,
It's
wait,
lovely and it's wonderful. And then we get a lot of chapters of them wrapping up their project and solidifying their relationship. And it feels very conclusive, right? So, why do we have a spinoff? Why did I finish this, know that there's a spinoff, and say, Dear God, don't give me the spinoff? Because, and I will read
so
it. No, I'll read it because I want more of them. But I know that there's another love triangle miscommunication trope. And why? We already did the miscommunication. We got together. Why?
say it's not necessarily miscommunication on their part, right? So it's not
Okay.
necessarily miscommunication on their part. This
Did you
third
read
party comes out
the
of
spinoff?
yeah,
Okay.
work-life balance. Yeah, so I keep up to date with work-life balance. So it's like this third party comes in who is somebody from Director Kang's past, and I don't necessarily want to spoil anything, but it's a very heavy story on possessiveness. Like they are very no, not in a bad way. They are possessive of each other. And this third party very much tries to come in between that. And it doesn't work necessarily in that third party's favor, but it does make them have conversations that they probably have either been avoiding or just haven't even thought about having. So I think it's a very, I don't know if it was ever supposed to be a spinoff because I feel like while On or Off does end very well, I still feel like it ended early. So I feel like the spinoff came because they had to end On or Off itself. so then they couldn't continue with that exact story.
I would have been totally fine with another season of On or Off when I was like, so you're finishing this and then you're just bringing it back up to put them to mess their shit up again. That made me not want to read it. But if you're saying that it's actually just a continuation and
Yeah,
it's what you want to see, like you want to see their relationship grow and that,
yeah.
oh, when you
It's a
said the
100%,
possessiveness,
it's 100% growth of their relationship. Yeah, no, it's not
I had such a
bad
panic. I thought you
possessiveness.
were saying that
I
Director
could
Kang was
tell.
possessive of the
No.
third
The
party, and
third
I was
part,
like,
no, 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 no,
he
no.
can be
It's
possessive of On
possessiveness.
Young. He can't
It's
be possessive of
possessiveness
anyone else.
between our lovely MC and
Okay,
our
good.
ML. They are possessive of each other, but they go through things where they have to have those tough conversations. And if they're not willing to have those conversations, then they need to step apart for a second to think and actually take in what they're feeling separately in order to come back together in order to deal with those feelings together.
The third party is a past person from Director Kang's life, right?
Correct. Yes.
But it's a man, right?
Correct.
But
Yes.
he had never been with a man, right?
Correct. Yes.
So it's unfinished business between him and a platonic person who has feelings for him?
So correct.
Oh, girl.
Yes.
Okay, you got
Yes.
me. You sold me back. I'm back in.
Yes.
I'm back in. Because
Yes.
I was
And
so ready
I
to tell
so
you,
I will say the third party, he's an ass, but he's not bad. So
he
like
looks cute.
he is. But he's not he does stupid things and says stupid things, but I wouldn't say he's a bad person. He's just he got this unrequited love crush going on that never got situated and he got to get that figured out on his own.
He's in love and
Because
he's obsessed.
this couple ain't for him because he comes back knowing that Director Kang has never fucked with a man. But now all of a sudden you're in a full
He has
blown
hope.
relationship.
Now he has hope because he's seen him
He
with a
has
man, but it's
hope.
not him.
Correct. It's kind of him and I Young meet is really funny as well because they meet first before Director Kang knows that he met him. Yeah. Yeah.
Messy, messy drama. Okay, I'm back in. I was like really sure that this was somebody who is like on Young's like love
Mm-mm.
triangle interest, and I was so irritated by it, but you've totally talked me back into it. I am definitely going to read the spinoff. Do you have any merch of On or Off?
I don't. The
I,
reason being is because I wanted the figures that Tokyo
they,
Pop had, and
mhm.
every time I thought about them, I was broke. So and then by time I finally remember, I think they were completely sold out
It's
or,
always like a limited
taken so
thing.
I was like, "Well, damn. Come on
Yep.
now."
It's one
But
that I
now
definitely look for merch for. If you found merch for it, you would get it, right?
Mercari, so check Mercari.
Okay.
Mercari does for them. People sell it all the time.
Okay.
Um, from last time I checked, I see different things on Mercari for them. It just kind of depends on what that price is looking because sometimes Mercari, I do love you. I shop a little too much on you at this point, but your shipping be pissing me off.
But I will be taking photos on my Polaroid of Director Kang and his chorizo and printing those out for my wall because that's always easy DIY merch. Who
Yes.
Okay, speaking of Director Kang, and I have to ask this because it's the main question of the show. Who is your delusional boyfriend from the series?
So I would have to say I am a throuple to Director King and Young just because they have both things that I need, right? I love a little one, I like watching, so that's one
Gun to
thing.
your head. Gun to your head. You have to choose a delusional boyfriend. One.
I can't okay.
This happens
Okay.
all the guest is like,
Okay.
shoot me then. I won't do it.
Uh, Okay, let me go in. Day Young and his fun eyebrows, Director Kang, and his tattoo. And I just, can we bring Ahn Young in for a fun play sometime?
He can come join you guys, but if you had to choose one to live and die
Yeah,
by, that man has to be a
yeah.
partner now.
We will go with the Director Kang. We'll get
But
some.
I'll agree with you that Ahn Young is such a contender for this delusional boyfriend, which honestly, his like humor, he's cute, he's
So
confident,
funny.
he's so
He's
funny, and
so
he's
funny.
honestly the way he respects himself and when he is fine with how someone treated him, that's one thing. When somebody crosses a line, like Director Kang degrading him during their sexual experience didn't bother him. Director Kang telling him to take the acting job and he doesn't care if they work together anymore, that was over the line. And I like that he has his own code and he doesn't let somebody disrespect him or make him feel bad or less than. I really respect that in Ahn Yiyoung, and it made him a contender for my delusional boyfriend. Director Kang's dick, though,
He's so awesome, and I really do love him, and I feel like he deserves everything in the world, and if he can't be my boyfriend, it's okay because I'm just gonna watch him fuck my boyfriend.
no, you'll have a guest room for him. You'll be in the guest room. You'll be like, actually, I sleep better alone. You guys enjoy. There's no
Actually,
camera in there.
you guys can share the bed. I like my space, actually. I'll see you
Don't
guys in the
move that
morning.
teddy bear in your room. It's not because it has a
Put
nanny cam in it, but don't move it.
put the glass up to the wall.
Just leave your door open though. That's the house rule. Leave the door open. Uh
Yeah, leave it
I want so badly to say that Secretary Cha is my delusional boyfriend because Secretary Cha does it for me. And also, it's
He's
been
so funny.
proven that Secretary Cha loves a bratty girl. And I would get on the back of that bike and cause a vehicle accident just trying to get her attention. I love her. I think she's so cool and funny. But I would just be lying if I didn't say that the first time I read this and every time I read it after that, that I'm not just looking at Director Kang's dick. That's that man. He is the eyebrows. I'm glad you brought them up because, first of all, I married a man with those eyebrows and they're insane and they're hereditary. And I looked at his great great grandpa, who was like a Supreme Court judge in New York. Those eyebrows are out of fucking control. And
His
they're gonna be in my
eyebrows.
family lineage.
I'm
I love that
sorry
crazy eyebrow.
if you guys don't. Which one is the best picture for his
Oh my
eyebrows?
God,
Oh,
that eyebrow.
this one.
It's
I like
curves.
this one.
It's a Nike
Look,
check mark.
it is a Nike check mark. Like, bro, what are your eyebrows doing? Get them plucked, please. Now he's
On
part of everything.
point. His eyebrows do it
They
for me.
work.
I love also Director Kang. I'm a Leo, and so is Director Kang. And they're Leos, and Leos are like, honestly, they're difficult to be together, but they are quite compatible. And something about his, I don't, even Mina, the best friend of Ahn Young, says Ahn Young always goes for an alpha male, the tallest, most masculine, like obnoxious guy in the room. And when we were little, it was always the fucking bully and the douchebag, and it's always been that
No
because
matter what. Oh, I love their kid panels, and
they're
she
so
was just like,
reading
bro.
him, clocking his shit left and fucking right. She knew he was gay before he knew he was gay, and she knew who
Oh
he
my
liked and how
goodness, the way
work.
she's known since the beginning, and she's just like,
Honestly, Mina was a contender for delusional boyfriend because Mina
I love
doesn't
Mina.
play at all about anything. Mina gets business.
I like her personality, I like her seriousness, I like how protective she is about her friend, because she is one thing she doesn't play with is Ahn Young, and she makes sure that even though he can make some stupid decisions, you're not gonna play in his face.
No, and she will never not call him out. So there's one point where he says, "Hey guys, I'm going to quit the team. I'm going to be a famous celebrity." And she says, "8 years and 4 months ago, you told me you didn't care about fame and that you wanted to start a business with me because this is what you cared about." So instead of letting him lie to himself, she calls up the exact moment in time when she learned what she learned about him and she holds him to it. And she allows him. She says, "If you want to quit, fine, but don't pretend like that's what you want because I know that's not what you want." She's a perfect friend. I really loved Mina. At the beginning of the story, she's getting her parents out of debt by working so hard that she can pay off their shit.
That she yeah, but that she's working so hard that she had to give up her business in order to make sure that she can work and take care of her family, and she gave it to her best friend. She's like,
That's all. She's a solid fucking person. So Mina also gets a participation trophy here, but yeah, I think
"That's me."
I kind of
They'll be
had
like,
a
"She's
feeling
touching
we're
me."
gonna pick Director King over everyone because it's hard not to, right?
I just love sometimes I just really love a man with muscles, tattoos, and big dick. That's
And
all.
those little and his dress shirts when he's, like, in the dress shirts and those socks with the sock garters, like, why is that so fucking sexy to me?
But
Sock
I
garters.
need it sometimes. Sometimes in my life, I need it.
As far as how he compares my other delusional boyfriends, I feel
Oh, he
like
doesn't. So sorry.
he's with
He does
Law,
not.
you say he's not even close to Law?
I love Director Kang, but it's Law has his own ceiling, and everybody else is under the ceiling that Law is under, and then they're fighting for who's top on the ladder. Engine is trying to bust through that ceiling right now, and so it's okay. but everybody else got it's scrap. It's they're scrapping up that ladder. Okay, I already know where
The
mine
penthouse is
is.
up here and everyone else is living
Yeah,
below the
yeah,
poverty line.
yeah. They working. It's okay. I already knew where my the only person. So I will give you one
Give it.
who BL wise is up there with Law. That's Jay
Okay.
Shin from Ghost Nocturne.
Jason's beautiful, perfect cock. His gorgeous fucking claws on one hand, no claws on the other hand, like a lesbian, so he can get those fingers in there without damage. His everything.
I love Jay Shin so bad. I love Ghost Nocturne. That is my top story. Like, I have a whole building shrine over here of Ghost Nocturne stuff. I got an acrylic. I got another acrylic coming soon. I got a cup. I got some photo cards. I have another. So it is probably one of my favorite artists in Manhwa, and I have her little diamond dust. I have a little diamond dust spackles stand, acrylic stand for Yeon. But Jay Shin, that is woo.
I haven't covered the Ghost Nocturne yet on this. Next year, I think it's going on the list. Do you want to guest with me? I know. Let's do it, girl. Let's do it. This is going to be so fun. I've been dying for someone
Because
who likes that phrase.
season four should be back by then. Hopefully, Sierra Jade, I need it back immediately. Come on, let's finish the story. Give it to me. Yes, yes. You ain't even yes, put me down.
Yeah.
I found Ghost Nocturne when it just ended season one. So I when I found it and I was reading and I found out that there was no more after season one, I was like, what the fuck? What are we talking about? And then I had to wait until season two came back, and then season two ended, and then I was like, damn. Then I gotta wait on season three. Season three ended. Season three ended. I You haven't finished season three, right? So let
You
me
don't
shut
spoil.
up.
There is so I kept getting these foreboding feelings at the end of season 2 and then those hiatuses. It was one of my first experiences with the hiatus where I was like, "Oh, I'm a binge reader. I actually cannot read weekly. I did Jinx weekly and I dealt with it, but other than that story, I cannot do weekly because when you get to a hiatus in between seasons, it's literally so
It's
frustrating.
torture.
It's torture. As far as onoroff goes, this is definitely one of my all-time favorites. I do think it has some bias because it's one of the ones I read towards the beginning of my journey. So much like Love is an Illusion and Dangerous Convenience Stores and some of those, because I have the physical edition and because it was early in my journey,
Isn't isn't Dangerous Convenience Store A1 as well?
is what? A1? It's not
A1's
A1.
author.
It's not, but they have such a wait, hold on. Dangerous Convenience Store is 4 or 5. I was gonna say
That's not
it's also
that's the
numbering.
person that does Hounds of Sisyphus, right?
Ex and they're I will say they're, like, very similar in the art style, which is one thing I like, which is that Dangerous Convenience Store with Aw Juicy or Guwon in Hounds of Sisyphus or Director King in this, they're very traditionally masculine and very I don't know, they're just more ruggedy looking guys than having for example, in Low Tide and Twilight, you've got Taeju, and even he has some slendering and some sharpness and some almost like feminine things going on with him. But I would say these guys, those all of those characters I just mentioned are very like manly men and very classically, traditionally manly looking.
You know what I'll say? So a lot of now that I'm thinking about it, so with BL Manhwas, a lot of our dark-haired men, for the most part, will be very muscular, big guys, manly. But
Mhm.
then you always have those standouts who are dark-haired and they're the sluttiest of bottoms.
I
And
always say
it's
black
just
hair bottom because they're drawing these black hair bottoms every other day and they so slutty.
and they're such oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah.
I could just full volume, swallow you whole. Like those are the two that just and they're big breasted.
And so often I do feel like there's also like but
Matching.
I am like, yeah, no, these a big to be honest, this is the archetype of like my husband. My husband is like a rich trust fund corporate guy who works in DC and wears suits and has these crazy eyebrows and this dark hair and he grayed really early, even though we're the exact same age. He's salt and pepper. So we look age gap. And I will say Aw Juicy, same thing. I'm like, you'd think I'd be bored of my husband at this point, but sometimes when I see a character who looks similar to him, I'm like, no, that's my thing. And I do think Director King
Yeah.
and Aw Juicy have that similar, Yeah, they're both like zaddies, and I really love a zaddy character. Do you
Yeah.
have, as far as BL goes, what is the one story you're most excited to read that you haven't read yet or that's coming out? Like, what's the one thing that you're the most hyped about at the moment?
I need Jax to get it to figure it out. I need
Almost
Jax.
want to say, I was going to say, I haven't heard of an exciting new release since the Jax drama went down and everyone's excitement was blown up in their fucking faces with the biggest
I
disappointment in the
need
world.
I need Jax to figure it out and come back harder. Turn it into a regular gym love story, please, babe.
I will say this as a Montanan that can be written between a cowboy and an indigenous person that did not need to involve
Not
any
involved
slavery.
any slavery.
Montana.
Did not need slavery.
And as a person who likes cowboys and rodeos who lives in Montana, I still want my cowboy story. I want it
No, they
without
could
the
have just
fucked up
both
part.
been.
Make them both
Why would they
cowboys.
even have to be
We all watched Brokeback Mountain. We read this story. It's an incredible story. They're just two cowboys. That's it. That's enough angst as it is. There's already enough cultural angst going on in that situation. You did not need to add a bunch of historical cultural trigger points that you have no education on. So that
why
was
did they have to be in the Civil War
that
or
didn't
right after the Civil War? Why couldn't we be?
not only was it like insensitive, it didn't make a ton of sense. And I was just like, all of smashing this all into one kitchen sink is weird and it is insensitive, but also people love this artist. And I don't think that they want to see the artist, like you said, disappear. They want to see them come back and try a
Yeah.
different thing because that art is good art.
I feel like the issue came about a lot more was because of the people's reactions who don't have any type of knowledge, opinion, factor, or space in what slavery did. You cannot be from Russia telling me slavery happened a long time ago in its fiction impact. Slavery goes back only about 4 generations. That's not is still prominent today. Black woman who still gets called all type of shit on her Instagram post racism when she cosplays a non-black character. Babe, racism is still a thing. Slavery, just because it only happened 200 years ago, don't mean shit. Close it the way that this world is going at this
Yeah.
point. Babe, I was just about to say, I'm like, people have grandmas who are 100 years old, who have, and if they're 100 years old, that means their parents were, that's 1926. I think slavery ended. Yeah, and trying to make a BL story about whether it was the main plot or not, it didn't need to be added.
And I will say that there's even a moment in this, which I know this is a translation from Korean, and that's another area where we're like, this author had a certain intention and it gets translated into English and it has a different effect on readers. And in this story, in On or Off, there's even a moment where they're having a fantasy role play towards the end of the story where he role plays as a butler. The bottom role plays as a butler and he calls Director Kang his master. And even that had me like taking a step back from the book and going like, I don't know if master is the same word in Korean, but it holds a lot of weight. A lot of weight. And
Translations are always so funny, especially physical translated material, because it's always what translation are you going to give me? Like I've been
you say
hearing people
young?
about what is that? Is a semantic error that
Yep.
did and they do what is it, brother
Yes, instead of young. And it's like,
instead of young, and it just takes it out of that moment and you're like, "Ew."
for a Western audience, it's like that's
Yeah.
incestual. That sounds
Yeah.
incestual. Or same thing with Aw Juicy. There's a translation where they don't call him Aw Juicy, it says uncle.
Uncle.
And then in the online translation, that's like I don't know if I saw somebody's like post of it, but I was like, uncle. I've never seen him be called uncle before. That's
Uncle.
so creepy.
Yeah,
And then the official translation is Mister, but I love when they just
yeah,
leave it Aw Juicy in the physical
yeah,
prints
and that's
because
what everybody's saying about Love So Pure, and they're like, "Please! Please keep Young. Just keep Young in the story.
We don't want
So
you to
they're like,
call the guy you're fucking your brother. Like,
brother, yeah, or
it
your uncle. Yeah, no.
it doesn't translate well, and I don't think in Honor Off they meant to do the butler and other guy as a triggering thing, but definitely the translation didn't help. And Jax's story, there is no getting around that. That's like that dynamic, that trope nobody wanted to see, nobody asked for. And I hope that the author takes that constructive feedback and being from a
I think she was very overwhelmed
yes.
with the response at first, and I do appreciate her putting out the statement. Anybody else that came after that statement, whole nother discussion. I don't want to talk about them. I had to unfollow a lot of people, but I feel like Jax did what she needed to do, made the statement, apologized. Could the apology have been a little more straightforward about what you did?
Yes.
Yes,
It could have been
but
more
it could have been a lot more straightforward about what you did, but you know what? You apologize, and we'll leave it at that.
and
But I hope she does come back. I hope she comes back with those characters. Just do something else, babe.
so I don't have a ton of stories that are upcoming that I'm excited about, but I have stories I
It's
haven't read yet
alright.
that are old on my TBR. And I would say one of the top ones is Wet Sand, which everyone has already read and I have not read, and which you are coming back on as a guest. And I am so fucking
Oh,
excited. TJ,
Ian,
Ian, Joe,
TJ, Joe. Oh
those
my goodness.
let's talk about tattoos and facial scars and artwork. They are those that are gorgeous. I cannot wait to read that. I cannot wait to have you back on the podcast for it. Thank
I
you
love them
so
so badly. They annoy the hell out of me, but I love them so badly.
that's our November BL Manhwa of the month.
It's
So
in November, but yeah, I really enjoy Wet Sand. Ooh, excuse me. And I think you are going to go through some emotions with Wet Sand. So
I'm
I'm
ready
excited
because
for you to read that.
I don't read love triangles, so I feel like since my last love triangle, I've waited long enough that
What was your last love triangle?
I can't even remember. I fucking
Oh,
hate
okay.
love triangles. So I've put them off for so long that I'm
As
almost
long as it wasn't yours to claim. I fucking hate that story.
I'm like, I'm ready for a love triangle. I'm like ready for some jealousy in that way where like I just haven't gotten that like desperate, do you like him? Do you like me? Like I haven't gotten that in a minute. So I'm really excited about it. So yeah, that's our November one. And then I want to circle back. So tell me, tell everyone where they can go follow you and then tell us, are you doing any more cons this year that we can follow you at or other than your in cosplay? Like what else do you have going on? Tell us. Thank you so much for being here and just like let us know what we can expect, where we can follow and get more of you from.
So I'm still trying to figure out a way to to quietly sneak up to Anime NYC. We'll see if I actually do or not in August. It's very not possible. It's very possible at the same time because I could work with this brand and get a ticket in for free because I don't want to buy a ticket. That's another thing. So it's completely dependable on if I feel like paying for a plane ticket. I don't have to look at and work out, but if not Anime NYC, it'll be Dragon Con here in Atlanta, 5 days, September the 3rd through 7th, which is
I
insane.
heard I should do that next
Um,
year instead of MomoCon from several people. They said Dragon Con is freaked out and
Dragon
awesome.
Dragon Con is insane. I will tell you that. Dragon Con is between 5 different hotels or 5 different buildings. So you are walking a fuck ton for Dragon Con. It's hot as hell in August in Georgia, September, August. Because usually in August, this is the latest that I've seen it. So it's hot as hell. You're walking between these 5 different buildings. The vendor hall is its own separate building. They have like 4 floors, I think, of shopping experiences. So you
Wow.
got like 4 floors or 3 floors of like merch and then like a whole artist alley. So you have a bunch of painting, comic book artists, stuff like that on a whole separate floor. But it goes like forever. Like it does not stop. Like nobody sleeps Dragon Con. Like you can be at the hotels for freaking ever and then it starts right back up the next morning like around like 8 o'clock. I have a panel. Me and Britt are doing yapping yowie again over there. I may have a BL panel for BL shows as well, so a live series just to pair in with my streaming, so hopefully I can get back on that before then. I still got to get approved for that second one, but we'll see in regards to that. And then there's this thing called Atlanime as well. It's hosted by Trap Sushi. If anybody knows what that is, I'll be there in October. I believe that's when that is. But then for after AWA, that's pretty much it for the year. And then start back up in January somewhere. I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass at that point. But you can find me with all my cosplay contents at Creatively Bree. Got a couple cosplays I'm working on, including Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Doing a more so young Aang, I think, because I don't feel like doing all of his older stuff. He's so grown now. Oh my goodness.
So grown,
Why are
so
they so
hot.
fine?
Everyone's so
He's
hot.
fine. And then I think I have so many cosplays. I never know what I actually want to do. I'm doing a One Piece cosplay soon. I'm doing Guwon is coming soon. I may try to get him in next week. I really just don't be feeling like painting my
I was gonna
body.
say you're
And
gonna have to do a lot of painting.
I had like tights, but they weren't I mean not tights. I had like a mesh shirt,
Mhm.
black mesh shirt to go, but it wasn't opaque enough. I needed it a little darker, but at the same time I didn't want it to be solid. So it was like, so I might as well just paint. So I'm gonna paint my body. I already got my contacts, my hair, my pants, my top, all of that. I just gotta paint, and that takes a lot out of me itself. So Guan is coming soon, and
I'm
then I
going
have a
so
One
hard
Piece
for that.
I gotta, yeah. So we got some stuff to work on. We got some stuff. But yeah, and then all my BL content, you can find me at BL with Bree on IG. Oh, my Twitch as well is creatively Bree underscore. So you can find me on Twitch at that as well. That's where I will be streaming all of my BL live series, where I will be watching Knots and Payback soon. Hopefully in the next week. I really just be so exhausted after work. I'm like, do I want to stream? No. But after con season was big, so I was like trying not to do a ton, and I had to get cosplays together for con season. So now that we've kind of simmered down, I can kind of get back to stream.
I'm so excited to watch you cover Not because I've been really excited about that series. And I did Desire the series, which was an Omegaverse live action, but
Yes,
Not is going
yes,
to be a whole nother story. And
yes.
I'm so excited to follow along with that. I've got to like create a Twitch channel and actually just be on Twitch and watch people stream because I only ever get clips on Instagram and TikTok after people do it. But I am so excited to see the reactions to that. I want to see if it's going to live up to all of our expectations because live action Omegaverse is what we all
It
want. And
looks so like I think I posted the trailer. I posted a clip of me watching the trailer for that. I fucking love it so bad. I was so gagged while watching the trailer. I was like,
And if you guys
he's
listening
all
haven't if you haven't watched a BL live action yet, I know that it's another jump you're gonna have to make into another fandom, but it's so parallel and it's so good and you will not regret doing it. I love BL live actions and we just started covering them for the podcast this year. So we have a couple
okay.
episodes you guys can listen to if you want, but I am like definitely it takes more time because these BL live actions are long and you have to read the subtitles most of the time, but oh God, it's so fucking fun to see this all played out with the musical score in the background, making it so
Yeah.
dramatic. It can be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they are long episodes, and you have to kinda just take some time out of your day to just sit, watch, and be just into it, because I hear nothing but praise about Payback, and I'm so mad I didn't get a chance to start watching it when it came out.
When it was going
Because just
out.
like I said, just because it was just such a hectic season. And then it was like, okay, I gotta figure out these cosplays, I gotta get my stuff together. And then Love Island took over for a whole month, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't win. I can't win.
I had to just
And then
live
you got
vicariously through Love Island edits and see what was going on through the edits because I was like, this will ruin me. If I
yeah,
become
I already said
hyper-fixated
I'm
on
never
Love
doing that
Island,
again.
I won't even remember to eat. I see what these once the girls are locked in, you can't unlock. So God, no, it took me a minute,
Oh
but
no,
I'm
I'm unlocked. I said I'm never watching this shit again. I'm never
no.
participating in this fandom. Catch
It
me after. Let me know who won.
I love love. I love romance. It's my whole brand. Everything I talk about is romance, and Love Island is the antithesis of that, and also the hope for that. So I get the addiction. I want to. I can't let myself go for it because I know I will buy in and I will be so deeply invested that I won't be able to do other shit. So I'm like, I gotta cut myself off at reality TV. Otherwise, all my other hobbies will fall to the wayside.
Yeah, I said I'll watch the next season, but after the season has completed. I'm not watching it live with everybody. I can't do it. That was the most stressful time of my life reading these people's tweets and comments and commentary. I'm tired of it. Shut up. Please.
I'm already too chronically online for all of it that it's just like at this point,
So
it's
chronically
terminal.
on. Oh my goodness, it's so bad. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, what I'm up to, what I plan to do, the things that are on my mind to do. And I have chronic ADHD, so the plans that I have today will not be the plans that I have in an hour. So
Makes my
it's like,
favorite creators because you get the most spontaneous random shit like an Aang cosplay, and you're like, oh my God, what? Out of left field, but I'm so fucking here for it. So go follow Brie everywhere you can. I promise you will not be disappointed. You will be entertained on the daily. I love following you.
yeah, because Jay Shin, Lee Knock, we got to talk, baby. We
We have
got
some
to
things to say.
talk.
We've got ground to cover. That
And like I said, I'm hoping season 4 is out and done by then. So like
ugh.
we're
And all of the dynamics just between the yin and yang energy and the cheese and like, ugh, I'm so excited to talk about that with you. So thank you guys all so much for listening. I hope that you'll join us in the future. I hope that you'll leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and turn on your auto downloads. It helps us so much. Tell a friend about it if you know a weeby girl who would love to listen about romance and shipping One Piece characters. And yeah, follow Brie everywhere you can. And until next time, remember, sometimes the delusion
is the solution.
Bye.